Business as Unusual is a thought-provoking podcast that explores the innovative strategies, disruptive ideas, and unconventional practices driving successful leaders and companies in the ever-evolving world of modern business. Subscribe, comment, and share for weekly inspiration with our host, Aisala.
Hello and welcome to Business as Unusual. I'm here today with the fantastic Mikey Famine, who already helped me with my audio issues. So for those of you who are looking for live stream support, I can make a firm recommendation. So, hello, Mikey.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Hi, everybody.
So obviously I have given some indication to people of who you are and what you're about, but would you be up for introducing yourself a little bit?
For sure. My name is Mikey Famine. I live in Chicagoland. I'm a St. Louis native. I am a streamer, producer, musician, and cat dad, foodie. No, I started Mikey Famine Productions a couple of months ago after quitting my full-time job. To do online streaming help and to work with clients to get their companies into a streaming position and to not make a fool of themselves while they're doing it, which is easy to do.
It is. I do feel like stepping into live streaming, I did have to accept the permanence also of when I make an error. It's like, oh, that's up there forever. Hi.
It is live TV, but 10 times more effective, because for every TV that you see in your day, you're probably going to run into somebody who's got a cell phone. So when you're at the grocery store, you can be a TV. When you're in the car, you can be a TV. So you're going out to everybody everywhere, which is the plus and the minus. So your mistakes get a bit amplified.
Right. I mean, the thing that I do reassure myself with is that, there's so much out there that it probably, won't last overly long. So I titled this Bet on Yourself partially because when I was asking you some questions about your work, that you said that was kind of your tagline. So what led to that? How did you decide to bet on yourself?
Previous to doing this, I was a grocery store manager. I had been doing that on and off since I got out of high school, and I'm 35 in a few weeks. So I have like 15 years on and off of grocery experience. And I really kind of found myself, especially because of COVID and Karens and the entitlement of people on certain political parties, it just got so bad that I wasn't sleeping very well, and I never was a good sleeper. My eating was crazy. I'm stressed out. I'm feeling like fits of rage, and I can't explain why. Like a guy cut me off, and I'm like mad about it. Like 5 miles later, and I can't figure it out. It's my job. I wasn't getting paid adequately. It was a stressful environment, and thanks to an angel donor, I decided to start my own company and just get out of there. And as stupid and toxic as that job was, I didn't go to college. I went straight into the workforce, family stuff. And like, your job is like part of your identity. Like, it's super important to you to have that security that every day I show up at this place, and then every Thursday I get my direct deposit. It's just like an A-B transaction, and it's fine and it's good. And walking away from that was probably one of the harder things I've had to do. Just because I was so indoctrinated into that late stage capitalism. You better find food or you're gonna die. And it's just like And that little voice in the back of my head is like, you know what, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. If this company, as crappy as it is, can make money, there's no way that with all that big old brain and that ball of charisma that you can't make money doing something that's good for you and that's ethical, good for the world around you, and that I can use in a way to pivot and broadcast people who probably wouldn't get that attention otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to build on the last thing you said, because that's one of the things that I have loved about being in the podcasting world is the numerous shows that bring forward concepts or cultural experiences that I don't think would have seen the light of day if it weren't so accessible. And hopefully, there's always I go back and forth between hope and cynicism, but I'm hoping like that as we could bring forward more of that for people to genuinely connect across different experiences and cultural understandings, that we can see a more I guess more integration or more at least understanding. Like I don't think we need to absorb each other, or we don't need to consume other cultures the way sort of capitalism teaches us to, but I think we can learn how to experience those differences as less threatening, maybe, if we have more opportunity to interact safely. Like I can chat with someone who's doing a live stream and learn from them without necessarily stepping into something terrifying or feeling that overly vulnerable. You did that show, I think it was on the BiCurean podcast, where you guys were talking about gender, sexism, and the transgender experiences and sort of challenges that, and you had transgender folks on, and I was just like, this is such a great opportunity for people to kind of understand how to do that. And that's actually something I want to ask you, because I haven't asked you this before, like both on the BiCurean I think both on the BiCurean and I think Dig on America, I've seen you lead people through that process multiple times where there, something comes up and you're always really quick to see, oh, this might have an impact that isn't intended, or but you're really skillful at pointing to the issue and encouraging people to learn. And I don't know, you've also got, I think, a good group together. I actually encourage people to watch your shows because of that. I'm like, if you want to see what it looks like to be able to talk across challenging things, you should watch these shows. So is that something you were intending to do, or how did that come about? What created that?
That particular show, I think, what was it? I think it was Trans Visibility Day, or some legislation had been passed. So we reached out to some of our friends on Twitter and some of our other channels that we're associated with, and got those lovely humans on. But the week before that, we had I think Barbara Colaroso, which you know very well. And it's just when you surround yourself with positive people, you get opportunities to have really good conversations with other positive people. And that's something that I always kind of would rather have. I'm all about watering plants from now on. I'm an old man. I don't have the stamina or the mental wherewithal to just sit there and argue with people on Twitter anymore. The same energy I'm using on that, I could be using to water a flower somewhere. So I'm going to water flowers throughout the internet, and I'm going to leave the weeds to their own. I'm not going to try to water them to death. One quick thing I wanted to pull up from before, a good friend of ours, Jonathan at Dishonest Ape, about us not all being the same and not blending into one homogenized thing. He was talking about drawing Black people because we all play D&D together, and he's like trying to work on the character art for my character. And he's like, I'd have to stare at people in ways that would make them uncomfortable. So there's pictures and stuff like that. So that's that. I don't know why I wrote that down, but I felt like that was really important. Like he understands that to draw Black people, you have to look at them, like study them, like focus on them. And that could be a very awkward situation if you're sitting across the table from somebody. So shows and podcasts and streaming especially really let you, like you say, like kind of get under that first layer and really ask questions that you weren't really you wouldn't think was safe to ask, but that they've given you a table to place your plate upon. And and as far as my politics and stuff like that, I used to be a right winger. I used to be all small man, low tax. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I really finally understood that politicians lie. They don't mean what they say. And if I want the results that I want, the only way I can get that is if everybody is nice to each other. And if everybody's usually nicer to each other once they understand each other a bit better. Because it's one thing if I see an Aisla proxy stumbling out of a bar drunk, I'm like, oh my God, get it together, girlfriend. You're over there slacking. But if I know you, I'm running over to help you automatically.
Right.
So as soon as you make any kind of connection at all with somebody, you already take better care of them. So conversations are a great way to build empathy in people that currently don't know that they lack it, and getting them to really put themselves in the position of the people that they're criticizing.
No, I think that's a really important point, that if we are going to overcome the isolation and the polarization that is tearing us apart, I think in a very real way, it's being kind. And I would also say one of the women that I really respected and admired, Dwanita Mosby Tyler, when we had her on my other podcast a few years ago, and she was talking about the importance of recognizing that you can stand for accountability. You can be like, oh, wait, no, that thing you said, not okay. And you can also stand for love and grace, that it's actually not mutually exclusive. And for me, it's always been the distinction of saying, I'm not going to dehumanize you. Like, you get to be a person. I might strongly object or express a real issue with a behavior or a statement, but that's not the same as saying, like, I think you're bad. And I think that, like, the more that we can get comfortable with those kinds of exchanges and just recognizing, like, if you correct me, that's not anything bad. That's actually a gift, right? Like, you're offering to give me information that I can then use to engage in a more thoughtful way in my life. And I'm not sure what creates that, like, reflex defensiveness, but I think that's a big problem. So I appreciate your perspective on, the live streaming empathy option.
People are really bad at helping. Even like not everybody wants, like, the percentage of people that actually want to help, only a certain percentage of those are going to be good at helping. And because if this was 10 years ago, I would have told you all your tech problems at the top of my lungs, calling you an idiot the whole time. Why don't you know this? Da 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 da. We talked about this last week. It's a skill that has to be learned and watered and nurtured to produce fruit. And it's taken a while, but yeah, even if out there, even if someone's asking for help them nicely. Or they won't ask for help anymore, and then overall that just kind of, everybody's kind of hurt by that. You don't do yourself any favors.
Yeah, it's really true, right?
Yeah.
What do you think helped you to shift that perspective for yourself?
I don't drink as much. That's number one.
Okay, that's fair. Can make you look cranky sometimes.
and you get older, and then I guess once you start to realize that, or you see a behavior that you don't like in somebody else, and then someone says, oh, well, you do that, and then you say, no, I don't. Oh, whoa, wait, I do that. Oh, I don't want to be that guy. Okay, let me try it a different way. And yeah, it takes a lot more effort, but it's you produce more fruit that way.
And
by
who doesn't like
watering.
fruit? I like fruit, especially
Um,
raspberries. They're like my favorite.
I mean, honestly, the best fruit is obviously a pear. I mean, the
Is it
pear is
really?
it's in the Guinness Book of World Records, highest valued fruit. Yes, the pear.
Oh, that's so interesting, and it sounds like something you're making up. But
Oh, the website's been deleted. That's crazy. I can't believe that
that's
happened.
apparently the case.
Oh, here we are. Pun City. Population, me and you.
I mean, it's only the Punter Dome if 2 people enter and only 1 person
Oh, I'm deceased. I can no longer leave. Just bury me here.
leaves.
Put my sword in the ground with my helmet on top of it. This is where the hero lies.
That happens, but so the other thing that you talked about was respect my time or take it away. I'm like, I like this, but tell me what where is that line, or what feels like respect versus something else?
As snarky as that sounds, it's an affirmation. Like, it sounds bad, but I
No,
think
it doesn't.
it's kind of my mantra, because especially now that I'm not working for the man anymore and I'm working for me, I have a lot of stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love helping people, and I've spent countless hours in Zoom and StreamYard calls trying to help people with their OBS because something won't work, and I'm like, share your screen, and then we have to go through all these, and I spend so much time on that, and I wouldn't trade that away for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd do it again if asked. But what
Okay.
drives me up the wall is when I volunteer to help people and then they don't show up.
Right.
And that's, I could have been helping someone else, but I've wasted this time block is gone now. I cleared it for you, and I did nothing myself. I didn't get any of my stuff done. And so now no one wins. And so I had to put it out there. Respect my time or I'll take it away. And so now I mean, it's going to be harder for them to get me to help now.
Mm-hmm.
Much more difficult.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, I think even if you aren't, working for yourself, there's lots of things you can do with your time. I had a friend of mine is a coach, and her advice was not to work harder for people than they're willing to work for themselves. Like if if they're not in a place where they're able to like put themselves into it and commit and really show up for their part, that's fine. No judgment. It's just the only judgment is like, oh, that's probably not a great fit for me because I'm looking for a different kind of engagement from the people that I work with. So no, that seems pretty wise. All right. Let me see. You filled out this whole form for me, which I super appreciate.
I was over there like sweating bullets, just like, should I say this? Do I really feel that way?
Well, I'm glad. I always feel that the best way to really bring a guest on is to make sure they feel like a lot of anxiety and concern, so that way, as they show up, they can really feel a sense of like being on the spot. Absolutely.
I've been up for 24 hours, just like the email told me to. And I have a thumbtack in my left shoe.
There you go. Just step on it to like keep yourself awake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's say I've heard about this streaming thing and I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I get my iPad out or my MacBook or my non-Apple product. It might be a better choice based on all of my conversations.
Your iPod Shuffle. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. There you go. And, so I'm going to do this. What is the best first step or the worst first step to be aware of, or both? Like, what mistakes would you encourage people not to make that you've seen happen, or what good choices would you encourage them towards?
My first tip is to make friends. because you're going to need a lot of help. OBS has a huge learning curve. So it's a lot of getting it wrong before you get it right. And that just comes with time, and it's not going to be great on your first 30 streams. There's going to be something that's messed up. You just got to accept it, move on. So I guess my first tip would be let things roll off your back. If something's not working, let it go. Try again. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. Figure out what the problem is and try again. If someone's trying to do something for like a big event, do a smaller event first so you can work out your bugs, because even though everything looks like it's absolutely perfect on your screen, I guarantee that something will break and something will not work. So test runs and be ready for it to go bad, because it will. Inevitably, right. Inevitably, it will.
Inevitably, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I started my first podcast, I spent years struggling with Audacity. I was not very good at it, and I had some vocal issues. Like you listened to my voice, we're like, whoa, what was that? Like all those things.
Is still mind blowing to me.
Yeah,
and I showed my wife, who's heard Aisla's voice 100 times. She's like, "Who is this?"
Mm-hmm.
It is one of those crazy things.
So yeah, and so that so in a lot of ways it was a huge accomplishment to finally get it started through all of those different challenges, and it's that double-edged sword of I listened to the early episodes and there's part of me that cringes because I'm like, oh, but then there's also this feeling of like, wow, look at how far I've come.
Exactly.
And so I don't like, I've had moments of like, I should just delete them, and then I'm like, no, it's okay, they're not bad, they're just not up to the standard I'd like them to be. And it does show this like the development. And I think that that's okay. I think we can actually develop a little, in some ways it's a little bit public, but I think it's okay for people to give themselves permission to maybe, start off learning, and that's okay. Like maybe don't do like your like biggest, highest desired like success project. Like you said, start out with something tiny or that you're willing to play with. That it's okay if it's not perfect. But I think that's good advice. When are you going to be an overnight sensation? You've been doing this for 5 years. How many more years before you're an overnight success?
I have a feeling that my next TikTok about me making dinner tonight, that's going to be the one.
Yeah,
that's going to be the one.
Go viral.
I'm going viral. I'm going to be all over. I can see my name in lights.
I can see you in lights. I love this background you got going on. It feels very 80s retro.
This is not something I could have ever done when I first started doing this.
Yeah.
I could have never done it. But then I had to ask a friend and watch YouTube tutorials. There was a lot of good resources out there.
What if someone wanted to hire you as a resource? How would they do that?
Best way to do that is go to solo.to/Mikey Famine. My contact information is on there. And if you need consultation for any project that you got going on, I can poke my nose around them. I can help you out. I'll get you squared away. We'll get you up on the road there.
Nice. I mean, I do have a secret agenda of you having like a very successful streaming business, because I just love the content that you produce and the way that you show up. Like you said, with the streaming, you like to amplify things, and I feel the same way. That's part of what this show is about, is I really want to create a world in which all of these things that are happening that are actually positive, or at least have the ability to create something more interconnected or create more empathy, get as much attention as the damaging despair that we get faced with every time we open anything. It seems like, and not to ignore it. Like eyes. There's hard, right. Like, and I'm not saying we should ignore it. There's really horrible things happening, and they definitely deserve our attention. However, there's also a lot of really great things happening, and a lot of people working really hard to create something that is more inclusive and positive. And that doesn't seem to get as much attention. And maybe I'm in the wrong channels, but it's just been my experience that like the stuff that comes to me easily is not super cheerful.
Uh, you're 100% right. There are really, really big issues facing at least on the America side. There's a lot of big stuff happening and can happen to us with the next with the midterms and the next elections coming up and court decisions and all that good stuff. People need release. And they like entertaining things to take their mind off of the quagmire that is right outside their front door, or that's popping up on their cell phone and on their TV and on their laptop. They need a break from that. And it's no crime to make people feel good for 35 minutes on your podcast or on your stream, to give them that breath of fresh air so they can get some food, get some rest, get some water, and then go back to the fight. Even warriors take days off. So being able to provide something entertaining for people is in itself a very useful thing for society. We need entertainment. We need a release. We need some small piece of escapism, or else this world comes crushing down upon you. And it's no bueno. It's no bueno. Everybody needs something fun to enjoy, and being able to provide that for people and to help other people provide that for people is a sweet gig if you can get it.
Yeah. Well, so let's say that you're successful beyond your wildest dreams, or as successful as your wildest dreams. What's happening in the Mikey Famine Productions world, and how does that affect the world around you?
So ask it one more time. Like what's best case scenario?
Yeah, like if you achieve your goals and dreams,
Yeah.
what happens? What does your company look like, and what have you done? What does the world experience from that?
I mean, I'll just tell you because it's just me and you right now. I would love to see my age grouped network make it to its own TV station.
Okay.
Because the internet is great, but the money is on TV. And until TV is completely wiped away, I'd like to see actually inclusive, actually self-owned acts be able to have their time in front of millions instead of in front of hundreds. Because I'm telling you right now, if you watch any reality show, just because the production value is high does not mean the content value is also high. There's a lot of $1 million garbage TV shows, and if we can get that $1 million into making shows with people who are actually, competent, empathetic, and looking to make the world better, I want more of that. And I'm going to use my tools of the trade to make sure that happens. So it may not be now, it may not be later, but soon. There's going to be a shift in our media, and I think I'm on the right side of it.
Nice. I like that. So I asked folks, we have a couple of people chatting and saying hello. Thank you all, Jonathan, Uncle Beck, and Marie, for being here with us. And if they have any questions for you, what are things that people typically ask about streaming that might be useful for our listeners either now or later?
They don't really understand what streaming is. Like, they kind of look at sorry, Mom. I've tried to trying to explain Twitch to my mom was a bit of a challenge, because she looks at it and she sees people and she says, "Oh, this is a video." I'm like, "No, this is live." She's like, "Well, there's a whole bunch of people. So which ones are videos?" I'm like, "None of these are videos. All of these are live." So it's if you're familiar with YouTube, yeah, Twitch is the live version, is the TV version. And pretty much what my gig is I take whatever's on my screen and I put it into your phone. And that concept is sometimes breaking for people because they just think, oh, okay, so you upload a video onto, like, no. You make it live. You make, like, my computer generates the images live. We do all of this stuff live. And it's a much more interactive format for business and for entertainment and all that stuff. Just getting people to understand what a stream is versus because you say TV, but then they don't think it's TV because it's like TV that you can talk to. It's just, I don't know. What was the second part of the question? I'm sorry.
We're in the future now. No, where you can talk to your TV. I remember
No.
Well, you're to Twitch, but I remember my kids were in middle school and I was upstairs, like chatting with someone on the phone, and I could hear one of my kids yelling at their technology because it wasn't responding properly. And I was like, and they're not being crazy. Like, we actually talk to our technology now. There's this whole other world that's been opened up. The original question, which I think you answered, is just, what is it that you have to often explain that people don't get, or that is, and anything on your mind that you want to share? We're not getting any questions because people are shy.
I'm very intimidating.
Is that true?
It's my deep, deep voice that scares them away.
And your laughter, you're like, I'm so intimidating.
Yeah, I have permanent sidekick voice. I've accepted that. I'm leaning into my Robin role in life. It is that way sometimes. Trying to think here. Activism.
Tell me about that.
So one good thing about streaming is sometimes these big corps like to score some brownie points, and a lot of causes get a lot of attention due to streaming. So I know, for example, Twitch, like for, I don't know, let's take a random holiday like Earth Day, for example. A company can actually reach out to them and say, hey, Earth Day is coming up. I got this big event coming. What do you think about putting me on the front page? Being on the front page of Twitch means anybody who signs into their account that day, which is, I think, somewhere in the like 150 million per day. I can double check, but a lot of people watch Twitch, and to be on that front page is ginormous and can really put a channel over the top and get them to where they need to be. You can really kind of pigeonhole the quote unquote wokeness of large corporations to really bolster support for causes, which they weren't really into. Being good to the people wasn't really a priority in previous times. They could care less, just give me your money. But it seems like a lot more companies are trying to be more inclusive and to have a better PR outlook for their brand, and that can you can kind of use that if you have some causes that you really want to get out there. There's a lot of big money out there that'll help you do that and help you get your word out.
No, that makes a lot of sense. There's a more accessible format, and that's a little bit what we talked about at the beginning. Oh, we do have a question from Jonathan. It feels important to me that you answer this correctly. See my beard here. No. I should read it out loud.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you read it.
This is from Jonathan Fuller. Hi, Jonathan. Thanks for your question. Of your co-hosts, who has your favorite beard? ? Thank you, Jonathan. Wow, that's a tough one. If I had to pick, probably be Neil, the 604 atheist. He has a really sweet kind of tribal almost beard pattern. You know it's you, Jonathan. You know it's you. You know it's you.
But you got to say Neil to start. And then Uncle Beck has a question. It's similar to what I asked, but a little bit more targeted, which is, where would you like to be in 5 years with your production business?
Profitable.
Profitable. I was like, Belize? No. Profitable is a great answer.
Belize is great. They speak English in Belize. They have caves. We went cave tubing down there, right out nice ocean water. Yeah, Belize is the correct answer to the question.
But profitable is also, right? Like, I think those are two good answers, because you wouldn't be in Belize if you weren't profitable, probably.
And a more honest answer is, at first the goal was to have a show every week, that was under my tutelage or in the brands that I run. But that's kind of small thinking, right? Because there's no, so I don't have a limit for that, but I want time for my family, and I want a partner to help me run this so we can get tons of content out for people that they're actually looking for. And it takes time, and I've been doing for like, maybe not the last 5 years, but at least the last 2, a lot of like my homework first. So that's setting up multiple, like sitting down in front of the computer for 10 hours and making layouts, and sitting in front of the computer and making sure that the Discord is set up correctly, and this is working, and this is working, and just making sure that like I'm on my little fishing boat, and I'm making sure that I go through every morning, and I make sure my nets are great. If my nets are not great, then it doesn't matter when I hit the fish, because if I hit the fish and I have all these holes in my net, it doesn't serve me. So in 5 years, I'm hoping that all of the holes in the net have been patched, so that when the fish come, I can catch them.
Nice.
That's the goal.
That sounds great. Well, I could talk to you all day, but I didn't ask for all day. So thank you so much.
You have me as long as you need me.
I mean, you're so fun. And Mikey and I are on a show together, and all we ever do really is laugh. So I was so excited that he was willing to come on my show and talk about his work and what he's up to. And I hope you'll check him out. He's like got all of these. I'll put a bunch of links in the notes, of course. But he's involved obviously in many projects. So go watch his shows, subscribe to his channel, and
ask for help.
Ask for help. And what I mean by ask for help is hire him to help you, because that's the new way of doing things, right? And that's everything. Do you have any final like words of wisdom or anything?
I want everyone to excuse me. I want everyone to give themselves one extra chance today. Don't beat yourself up when you get it wrong. You have my permission. Give yourself one more chance to get it right.
That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And then, and so in two weeks we have a show, but I don't recall what it is. So, but in 4 weeks, I'm going to have Stephanie Hearn on. So I'll pop that one up. Hello, Stephanie. And then we'll see what's happening in 2 weeks. Maybe nothing. And then anything else? No more questions. So I'm going to say goodbye, everybody, and we'll see you again.
Bye.